Yes, I am still here. I am still alive. Um, Hello everyone, my name is Luke. Welcome back to another one of my discussion videos. Although this is more of a personal video than a discussion video, but whatever. So yeah, since most of my most frequent viewers saw the post, yes, I was in the hospital yesterday. Um, and all I'm gonna say is last night was pure fucking agony. That's all I'm gonna leave it at, but I will explain what happened. And I will be explaining why this was a near-death experience. So yeah, without further ado, let's get straight into the topic. So yesterday, I woke up at around 3 o'clock, and I felt normal for the most part. I had my plan set out in front of me. I thought I was gonna just do everything I usually do in my typical day in my life. And then that's where I noticed that my stomach was hurting, and I also had a bit of nausea. So I was like, okay, like my first thought was I probably just have to poop, or I'm maybe constipated, because I have been dealing with constipation these past couple weeks. So I immediately thought that it was just like either constipation, or I just had to poop, or just something normal like that. And I did poop. I did. And the nausea and pain went away for a couple of minutes before it came right back. So pretty much for that whole day, I felt like shit. I had really bad nausea. The nausea was getting worse. The pain was getting slightly better, and the nausea was starting to become like the main symptom. And I figured, okay, I'm probably just having one of those sick days, so I probably just have to rest. I took a nap, woke up at around 7 o'clock, and I did feel better. As soon as I woke up, I felt a lot better. And not more than 10 minutes later, the nausea returned. The cramps were gone, but now just the nausea returned. So my first thought after that was, okay, I think I need to poop again. Maybe that's why I still don't feel well. Maybe my body's telling me that I need to poop, and that's why I feel nauseated. So, because that has happened to me before. Like I have experienced constipation for a long time. Like I've had constipation for years actually. So, and this was a common symptom. So I was like, okay, I'm just gotta poop, just one of those days. I pooped a little bit, but as I was pooping, I noticed that my nausea was getting worse. Like just getting up and moving around was making my nausea a lot worse than it already was. Like just walking around almost made me gag. So that's when I started getting a little concerned. And even after I pooped, the nausea still didn't go away. And this is when I started getting really concerned, because usually, like when it comes to constipation, usually when I poop a lot, usually this goes away. And I did poop quite a bit, and it still didn't go away. So I was like, okay, I took a shit, and the nausea is still here. So what the fuck is this? That's when I started getting really concerned, because I was thinking, whoa, there might be something wrong. Maybe I got food poisoned again. I did have food poisoning before, and this was another symptom. So my mind was just going crazy with all of the scenarios of what could be wrong with me. I thought maybe it was constipation, or maybe worst case scenario being food poisoning. I was just running out of ideas. But anyways, the nausea was getting worse. I noticed that laying down made it feel a little bit better, but I was also starting to get the chills. And when I get the chills while being nauseated, that usually means I'm really sick, because I have had those two before. Like when I'm nauseated and I have the chills, yeah, that usually means I'm really sick. And it was just awful this night. Like the nausea was still bad even though I was laying down. The chills were starting to bug me. And just getting up, like just trying to get up out of bed would make the nausea so much worse. And that's when I told myself, okay, there's probably some kind of poison in my body, and the only way to get it out is to just vomit. So vomiting for me is a very uncomfortable thing. Like I do not like throwing up. Like even when I was just a little kid, I don't like throwing up. Like it's a very uncomfortable feeling for me. So yeah, throwing up, I just don't like it. I always look for an alternative to throwing up. I know it's our body's it's like our body's defense mechanism when there's some kind of poisonous thing inside of our bodies, but still, it's just a really shitty thing to do. But I mentally prepared myself, and I was going to try and throw up because I figured if I would throw up, then I would feel better. And that's just what I did. I threw up, felt better almost immediately after, and I was like, okay, thank God it's over. I went in the front room, told my parents about it, told my family. And they didn't think nothing really of it, They just thought maybe I had some kind of stomach bug or something like that. And then around 12 minutes later, the nausea, man, I'm tired. The nausea came back. And this is when I got very, very concerned because I was like, hold up, wait a minute. Usually when I throw up, usually the nausea does not come back because listen, like I've had everything, guys. Like I've had stomach flu, I've had stomach bugs, I've had stomach viruses. I've even been food poisoned, for fuck's sake. Like I've literally been food poisoned before. So I know that when you throw up, you're supposed to feel better afterwards because your body already got rid of whatever poison was inside of you. So, and I know that with stomach virus, you do tend to throw up more, but this was different. Like, this was different for me. Because the last time I had a stomach virus, I would throw up, and then like 2 hours later, I'd throw up again until I went to the doctor and got it fixed. But this time, it was only not even 20 minutes passed by, and I already felt nauseous again. So I knew something was not right. So, and again, another thing I knew wasn't right is when I had the stomach virus, I was not throwing up like multiple times in a short span. Like when I felt nauseous again, I threw up 4 times in just 10 seconds. And it was fucking awful, ladies and gentlemen. Like I gotta tell you, it was like a pure slip and slide from hell. Like I threw up multiple times, 4 times in just 10 seconds. It was just coming out of me. And yeah, it's pretty fucked up. And I was like, okay, what the fuck is wrong with me? And one thing that made me feel a bit better is the fact that I did feel a little bit better until I tried drinking some water and some soda. And that's when I realized that, oh shit, I can't keep anything down. Now, this is when I suspected a stomach virus, because last time I had a stomach virus, this was something that occurred during that time as well. I wasn't able to keep foods down, but then I realized I was not able to keep foods down, but water and liquids, I was able to keep that down just fine. Like, I couldn't even keep water and soda down. So that's, again, when I realized, okay, this is definitely not a stomach virus because this is just not normal. After I tried drinking some water and soda, I threw up another 4 times. Actually, no, 5 times I did. Yeah, 5 times, sorry. And yeah, that's when I was like, okay, I've got to get my ass to the hospital. And thank God that I did, because ladies and gentlemen, if I decided not to go to the hospital that night, or if I decided to just wait it out and see if I would feel better in the next couple of hours, I would probably not be here talking with you guys right now. Because the reason why I was so sick is because, when I went to the doctor, they stuck the IV in me and everything, and they got my blood samples. They basically found out that I had a severe case of diabetic ketoacidosis. For those of you who don't know what that means, because most of you don't, basically what ketoacidosis means is it means that my sugar is extremely high to the point where it's starting to poison my own blood. Like my own blood was basically turning into acid poison inside of me. And that's the reason why I was throwing up. Like, the reason why I was throwing up is because I thought there was some kind of poison in my stomach, but really, all of my blood inside my body was turning into acid poison. So, yeah. Even the doctor said, if you guys didn't come here, because obviously my family was there, because they drove me there. If you guys were not here right now, then he would not be alive. He would have either just died, got extremely critically ill, or would have ended up in a diabetic coma. So, yeah, I came extremely close to death. And, the thing that really caught me off guard is the fact that I would have never expected it to be something like this. I always thought I would catch like some kind of disease from the outside world, and that would be the thing that would almost kill me. But my diabetes, I guess I was just not expecting it. So yeah, I was in the hospital last night. I was there for the whole day. I did not get any sleep in there whatsoever, because the hospital bed that they put me in was not very comfortable. They also admitted me to the ICU because I guess my body was in critical condition. I was extremely dehydrated. My blood and my ketoacidosis were still active inside of me. So, I was already in quite critical condition. And like I said earlier, if I didn't go sooner, then it would have been pretty much me being put in the ground type situation. I would have died. I would have ended up in a diabetic coma. Obviously, that would have killed me. I would have just died, or I would have just been to an even more critical condition than I already would have been. And that more critical condition, it could have impacted things like my kidneys or my eyesight, and and yeah, that would have been very bad. So, but yeah, the hospital was hell. I didn't get any sleep in that place. And it had nothing to do with the actual scenery. The hospital was very nice. It was, the Beaumont Hospital here in Michigan. It was a very nice hospital, but the bed was just too small for my big fat ass, I guess you can say. And I also had all the wires hooked up to my arm because they had to give me a lot of fluids because of, I was dehydrated. They also had to pump insulin inside of me with the IV. So, they was just pumping a shit ton of fluids inside of me. Yeah, I did not get any sleep in that place whatsoever. And to make matters worse, I also had this god-awful sore throat, which I actually still have right now. It's not as bad as it was then, but holy mother of God. I had COVID a couple months ago, and the COVID sore throat I had then was nowhere near as bad as the sore throat that I had in that hospital. And like I said, I still kind of have it now. It's tapered down a bit, but, still there. Like, I still can't swallow very well. So yeah, it was fucking hell, man. That night was agony for me. Thank God for my durability because, obviously I pulled through. I'm still here with you guys. I pulled through. But it's also a bit depressing for me. And before I say anything else, it's not depressing because I had a near-death experience. Let me explain actually how I feel about that. I am not afraid of death. I am not afraid at all of death. And the reason for that is because I feel like being afraid of the unknown is normal. Like, obviously we fear the unknown, but I don't think death is really the unknown. To me, death is basically the price that we pay for life. Everything in life has a price, including that of life itself. And the price we pay for life is death. So I feel like death is something that's completely natural, and it's something that's going to happen to every single person here because obviously it is. And, obviously some people be saying, well, you're so young. Why would you want to die now? Well, the thing is, death can either come when you are already expecting it or when you are least expecting it. Death can come at literally any point. When the Grim Reaper comes after you, there's nothing you can do at that point. Sometimes you can escape Grim Reaper and live like I did just now, but sometimes you can't. And sometimes Grim Reaper will come for you sooner rather than later. Some people die sooner. Some people die later on. Some people will live till they're in their hundreds. Some people will die when they're in their 50s or 60s. Death is something that will come for everyone at some point or another, and sometimes it'll be sooner and sometimes it'll be a little later, but it's something that's going to happen to everyone at some point. And obviously people don't want to die too soon, but sometimes people just die. People die, and that's part of life. It's been part of life since there even was life for human beings in the first place. We live and we die. So I'm not afraid of that. I'm not afraid of death at all. I mean, obviously I don't want to die now, but if I was going to die, then I'm not gonna be like really sad over it. If I was going to die, then I would try and find peace in my final moments and just wait for it to happen. And I would be at peace completely because dying pretty much is that. Like, when you die, it's pretty much peace. Death is rest. The reason why we die is because it's rest. It's us getting peace and rest from the world. We survive to see the happy parts of life, and we endure the bad parts of life. And then at the end of all of it, we die. It's rest. It's peace. So I'm not afraid of death at all. Like I'm not afraid of death. I'm not afraid of dying. If I was going to die, then I would welcome death with opening arms. I'm just not afraid of death. Some people say that means I'm passively suicidal, although I don't think so, because I don't want something to actually kill me. Because that's what passively suicidal means. Like, when you're passively suicidal, that means you want something to kill you, but you won't actually kill yourself. I don't think I'm passively suicidal. I just think I don't care much about my life. I mean, I do to a certain extent, but, I just don't care if I was to lose my life. I don't really care. If I'm going to die, then I'm going to die. So the reason why this is a bit of a depressing thing for me is because I got so used to not really caring about my diabetes. For 2 years, I pretty much just done the same routine, just get up, take insulin, and eat whatever I want, do whatever I want. And now that I'm going to have to stop doing that, that's what's depressing for me. It's a big thing to adopt to, because I was like this for 2 years. And yes, I wasn't taking care of my diabetes very well. I will admit that, because I literally ended up in a hospital last night. I was not taking care of my diabetes very well. I guess I was just eating the wrong food, I guess. I was eating too much junk food. And, junk food will kill you, whether you have diabetes or not, because junk food will lead to so many other health problems. So really, this is actually kind of a good thing. Like, there's almost like kind of a wake-up call, not only for the health of not only for my diabetes, but for my health in general, because taking better care of yourself is essential. So even if I didn't have diabetes, this was still a good wake-up call. But again, the reason why it's a bit depressing is because I'm gonna have to get used to this new routine, and it's gonna be a bit hard for me because 2 years ago I was able to eat whatever I wanted, but I was also able to eat when I wanted, because sometimes I do not like to eat. Like, sometimes I go days without eating because sometimes I just don't like to eat. If I'm not hungry, I don't want to eat. And now that I have to go through this whole new routine, now I'm gonna have to eat even when I don't want to. So, and I have to follow this, like, it's almost like a ritualistic routine. I gotta do all this crap. So that's what's kind of depressing for me. Just getting used to this whole new routine. And my parents are really up my ass about this whole thing now, because obviously my parents don't want to see me end up in the hospital again. So they're really far up my ass now. Like, they're all the way up there. So they're going to be bossing me around more than they already do. They're going to be telling me what to do, like, 24/7. And yeah, I really don't like the sound of that. But for now, I'll let it go. Only for now. As soon as I start seeing some dramatic improvements in my diabetes, my blood sugar and my overall health, I'll listen to my parents for now. But I think as soon as I start to understand what I need to do myself, I think I'll probably become independent again. Because I was independent for a while. My parents, like, at one point, my parents just didn't care anymore because of how stubborn I was, apparently. Because, I'm stubborn about my life. I don't like being bossed around. And honestly, I think the only mistake that I was making with my diabetes is I just don't think I was eating the right food. Like, honestly, if I'm to be 100% honest, I think that's the only mistake I was making. Because I was doing everything else right. I was taking my insulin on time, I was exercising, I was doing all that crap. I just don't think I was eating the right food. And my doctor did tell me that even if I take insulin for like junk food, it's still going to affect my sugar even if I take insulin for it. So yeah, I think that was my biggest, I didn't know that was my biggest mistake. I thought I could eat whatever I want as long as I took insulin for it, but no, it turns out that even junk food, like, even when you take insulin for junk food or high sugary foods, it can still impact my sugar negatively. So I think that's the only mistake I made, and I don't think I'll be making that mistake again, because I learned from my mistakes. I analyze my mistakes. I look at everything I've done wrong piece by piece, and then I add it all up in my head, and then I look at everything individually. I look at all the little things I've done wrong individually, so that way I can fully and 100% prevent doing it the next time. So yeah, I learned from my mistakes a lot, and I don't think I'll be doing it again. Probably not. Most likely not. Probably not. So no more junk food. Better. I'm gonna take better care of myself. I'm gonna take better care of my health. But yeah, I almost died. I had a very close encounter with death, and it's probably not gonna be the last one. Honestly, like, I am a religious person, and honestly, I feel like God probably just didn't want me yet. I feel like that's what a near-death experience really is. I feel like having a near-death experience means that God was almost like deciding whether he wanted you or not. And when you have a near-death experience, that means that God changed his mind and didn't want you. So I feel like God just had my back this time. You know, I feel like God did not want me yet. So, you know, God had my back. That's how I see it, because you know, I am one of those crazy religious freaks. I know that religious people these days are like kind of weird, but you know, I'm not like that. You know, I'm not gonna force my religion down someone else's throat. You know, I'm a Jesus freak, and that's just the way I live my life. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this little explanation on why I was in the hospital. And yes, I will be getting back to making more discussion videos almost immediately. I should have a new video up by tomorrow or the next day or whenever I feel like it. So yeah, anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. If you stuck by till the end, thank you so much. It means everything to me from the bottom of my heart. Thank you for watching all the way till the end of this video and hearing everything I have to say. Yeah, thank you guys so much for my viewers, subscribers, everyone. Thank you guys. So yeah, I guess I will see you guys in the next video. So yeah, take care of y'all, and take care of yourself. Peace.